right, let's just jump right in. Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're looking at a story that is going to completely shatter your idea of a relaxing summer vacation. We are unpacking a chilling Japanese urban legend that is deeply rooted in rural isolation, generational trauma, and an absolutely terrifying entity. We're going to follow the story of an 11-year-old boy named Yomi, and we'll map out exactly how his totally innocent desire to go visit his grandmother turned into a literal fight for his life.
So why would a village be completely empty of children? It's a massive red flag, right? But this question is the crucial point that kicks off this whole chain of events. Yumi lives in the city, and while all of his friends are heading off to visit their grandparents for summer vacation, his dad flat out refuses to let him go to Yakora village. And it's not just some casual refusal either. His dad is terrified. When Yomi's mom finally pushes the issue, the father drops this chilling detail. There are absolutely 0 children left in Yakora. The parents sent them all away. Why? Because, as the dad ominously puts it, she is still waiting. The forbidden journey. Driven by pure rebellion and just a desperate wish to see his grandma, Yomi does the unthinkable. He sneaks onto a bus, heading straight for the isolated world of Yakora village.
11. I really want to pause here and emphasize this number. That is how old Yomi is. As he steps off that bus, he is incredibly vulnerable. He's completely alone, and immediately the atmosphere of Yakara village just sets in. There is absolute dead silence. The village is surrounded by these massive, dark, looming trees, and true to his father's terrifying claim, there isn't a single other child in sight. It's this eerie, completely unnatural isolation. Now, this isn't just a random series of jump scares. It's a ticking clock, a precise 3-day ritual. Day 1, the sighting. Day 2, the torment. Day 3, the taking. When Yomi finally actually reaches his grandmother's small wooden house, her reaction isn't joy. It's sheer, frantic panic. She's demanding to know how he got there, why his parents let him come. Her face is instantly just etched with worry lines. She reluctantly takes him in, but strictly forbids him from going outside. The countdown has started. Day 1 has begun.
Terror of the first night. It's the very first evening, and total darkness has already completely swallowed the village. Yomi is playing with a ball on the balcony, and well, as things always happen in these stories, the ball drops down into the yard. His grandma is busy cooking, so Yomi, completely ignoring her earlier warning, sneaks downstairs into the dark trees to get it back.
This is where the creeping dread truly sets in. As Yomi is looking for his ball, he senses rapid movement behind the trees. At first, he thinks he's just imagining things. He heads back up to the balcony, but he just can't shake that awful feeling of being watched. Then, looking down into the yard, this impossibly tall shadow steps out. It's an 8-foot-tall figure wearing a massive hat, standing completely still, just staring right up at him. Yami's entire body goes paralyzed. He actually describes the fear as feeling like hundreds of ants are biting him all at once.
And then, the dead silence of the village is broken. Yomi hears a sound echoing from this massive entity, a rhythmic, unnatural, terrifyingly deep sound. Po, po, po. He snaps out of his paralysis, scrambles downstairs, and clings to his grandmother. But when he tells her about the tall woman and the sound, literally all the color drains from her face. She goes outside to check, comes back, and lies to him. She tells him it was just the wind blowing through the bamboo, but the damage is done. Who is outside the room? That brings us right to day 2. The grandmother's behavior completely shifts. That nurturing woman from day 1, she's gone. She stops cooking, she stops cleaning. Instead, she just paces nervously around the house, totally refusing to speak to Yomi. The isolation is compounding now. Yomi is trapped in a house with a guardian who is suddenly just shut down with fear. Let's look at how the entity escalates its attack. Footsteps pacing directly outside the bedroom. Violent, repeated banging on the window glass. Heavy knocking on the locked bedroom door. And the shadow of the large hat appearing on the glass. Yomi is hiding in his room, totally surrounded. That poo-poo-poo sound starts up again. He's screaming for his grandma, but she completely ignores his pleas for help. He is entirely on his own. Exhausted by just absolute paralyzing fear, Yomi passes out. He falls into this horrific nightmare, with blood on his hands and a terrifying woman hanging upside down from the ceiling. He jolts awake to his grandmother literally throwing water on his face. She is panicking, ominously declaring that the 8-foot woman has chosen him.
She then takes this ash-like substance and starts aggressively drawing strange white symbols all around his door to keep the entity away.
Come out quickly. I have done a ritual in the forest. And here we are at day 3, the final day. Yomi is locked in his room alone. Suddenly, the bedroom window just springs open on its own. From outside, he hears his grandmother's voice, urgently coaxing him. Come out quickly. I have done a ritual in the forest. We have to go now to save you. Yomi is terrified, but of course he trusts his grandmother. He stands up, ready to climb out that window into the dark woods.
But right at that very second, the phone call that changes everything happens. The phone rings. It's his father, and he is completely frantic. The dad explains that Yomi's mother just had a terrible nightmare, and when they tried to call the grandmother's house, the real grandmother wasn't answering her phone. Yomi tells his dad, "What do you mean? Grandma's right outside my window calling me to the forest, and she drew white symbols all over my door." The terrifying truth of Hashi Shakasama. The moment Yomi says that, his dad realizes the horrific reality. He finally breaks down and explains the dark history of Yakura village. He tells Yomi exactly what is hunting him.
This entity is known as Hachi Shaku-sama, an 8-foot-tall entity born from a bullied outcast, known to haunt the village and target children. The father explains that years ago, when he himself was just 7 years old, there was an unusually tall woman living in Yaskora, and the villagers were incredibly cruel to her. They bullied her mercilessly for her height, ostracized her, and started these malicious rumors that she was out practicing black magic in the woods.
The curse of Yakura. She was falsely blamed for a missing village child, exiled by angry villagers at midnight, and found brutally murdered and mutilated in the forest. Her vengeful spirit claims chosen children on the 3rd day. Basically, a terrible misunderstanding bred a monster. The villagers had killed an innocent woman, but her spirit never left. Fueled by vengeance, she began stalking the village. That is exactly why the village is entirely empty of youth today.
Battle of the final night. Realizing that Hachishaku-sama is actually a mimic, using the grandmother's voice to lure Yomi outside, the father knows they are in the absolute endgame. Those white symbols, they weren't drawn by a protective grandmother. They were likely drawn by a possessed one, or the entity itself, to trap Yomi inside. The parents jump in their car, racing an hour through the dark to reach the village. But Yomi has to survive until they get there.
Surviving the 3rd night. Step 1. Immediately erase the grandmother's white symbols. Step 2. Draw a continuous line of salt around the entire room. Step 3. Do not open the door for anyone. The father gives Yomi these rapid-fire survival instructions over the phone. I mean, just imagine the sheer tension here. Step 3 is absolutely crucial. Do not open the door no matter who it sounds like. Yomi scrambles to secure his room as the sun sets on his final night. The grandmother's body hung from the tree. When the parents finally arrive at the village, the reality of the situation hits them with just a horrific climax. They run into the yard and find the real grandmother. She's been brutally murdered, her body hanging upside down from a massive tree branch, just like in Yomi's nightmare, with a heavy wooden stake driven right through her chest. Forced to abandon the grandmother's body just to save their son, the parents rush into the house. They surround Yomi's salt-lined room with protective amulets and stand guard until dawn. The father physically plants himself outside the door. And throughout the entire night, the entity prowls the house. It tries every trick, every familiar voice to break their will, but the salt line and the amulets hold strong. The father protects his son through literally the longest night of their lives. Fleeing at first light, leaving the village before the funeral. As soon as that first light of dawn breaks, which breaks the power of the 3rd night, they make their move. They don't wait for the authorities. They certainly don't stay for the grandmother's funeral. They grab Yomi, run to the car, and frantically escape back to the safety of the city, leaving their ancestral village and their grandmother's body behind forever. They survived the 3rd day. Will she return? Because here's the thing you have to understand about the lore of Yakura village. It states one final, unbreakable rule. If Hashishaku-sama marks a child, if she chooses her prey, she always comes back for them eventually. Yomi physically escaped the village that morning, but did he really escape her?